Hi, my name is Grace Jacqueline Rose Spinks, but most people here just call me Gracie. I'm a freshman here at UNC, but I'm originally from a very small town it's called Papillion. It's in Nebraska. It's like 7.5 hours from here, so I'm pretty far from home. And then I'm a pre-nursing major currently, which is very exciting because the program here is absolutely amazing. And I'm also hoping to get a Spanish minor, just because I did Spanish like all through high school, and I just think it's a beautiful language, and it just would really help like in nursing, like with communicating with people, because like half the population in the United States speaks Spanish. Um, but my biggest involvement here is probably cheerleading. I'm on the UNC Gold cheerleading team, and I love cheering the Bears, so I have a ton of school spirit. And I'm also in SNA, which is the Student Nursing Association, which is super cool. Like I've met a lot of the professors like within the nursing program, and like a lot of people just in the nursing profession. And I love hearing like their stories and like all the cool advice that they can give. Okay, so my most impactful moment here at UNC, it was probably the UNC annual drag show. The show was put on like through the Gender and Sexuality Resource Center, and it was up at the UC. But I had a friend who was participating in the show, and he asked me to go and like support him, and I was like, yeah, of course, like that's cool. Like I'd never really been to one, but I was like, cool, something different. Um, and so they were there to like raise money for the whole program, and I come from a very, very small town in Nebraska, and it's very secluded and not super accepting of different people, but it was mostly very conservative Caucasians. So I really haven't been exposed to many people that are super like different from me. So I was really, really excited to go, and the show was super fun. They were all having like a really great time, and like they were really like interacting with the crowd, and um, it was super fun, but it was also like very eye opening for me, just because there are so many beautiful, amazing people in this world that I've never really been exposed to. Like I've never really had the chance to. So I'm pretty sure I spoke to like every person in the room that night. But they just told me these stories about them coming out, or like living as a transgender, or like with different sexualities, and some of their stories were just heartbreaking, like the things that they've gone through and the things that they overcome, and yet they were still so open and like willing to talk to me, and they're just amazing people, and I loved hearing and like learning about these people. And like I'm People are my favorite thing, like I say it every all the time, but I think that's probably like my hands down like favorite part of UNC is just the people and like the diversity, and everybody here is just so like willing to talk to you and like share their story, and like I've never really had that like diversity before, like that mix of people, and it's just something really exciting for me. Okay, number three. So, a community of bears to me mostly just means support. I think that's really the most important thing in a community, and I feel it a lot, especially with athletics. Especially being a cheerleader, I cheer for lots of different sports and different people, which is super fun. But I feel like the main job of the cheerleaders is just kind of to interact with the crowd, whether it be like students or fans, and just really like building that sense of spirit and that sense of involvement like within the school and like all the people in it. And I think it's just really a great way for people to bond together and really like feel at home here at UNC and feel safe being themselves, which is really the goal. And I just knowing that there's this big support system behind them that they can talk to and relate with. Like just me personally, like I was extremely scared for college, coming just so far away and knowing nobody before I got here. Um, but the Bears have really just taken me in and made me feel at home here. And I do think that it has a lot to do with all the support and school unity that I do feel here. And I feel like even like community of bears, like it doesn't just stay in the school, like it even reaches out into the community of Greeley. Like whenever you're driving down the road, like you go into stores and you see all the bears banners in their windows, and everybody will ask you, be like, oh yeah, do you go to UNC? And I'm like, yeah, and they will just tell me stories of their time here and how much they loved it, and are all just willing to help and like give me all this advice when they never have met me before. And I think that just really says a lot about this school and the community of bears. Okay, so number four. We actually did a big activity on the cheer team, like just the other day, dealing with this exact same question, like what role you play in the team. And I was the motivator. So I'm a really energetic person. I'm very smiley. And I feel like I'm very good at like encouraging people and like recognizing when people are upset or struggling. And I really try and like lift them up and like get them out of that hard place. Growing up in my family, we always used what was called the stoplight system when dealing with like feelings. When I was younger, I had a really hard time communicating and like, especially when it came to like how I was feeling, like how I was doing. So we kind of developed this system. So it was like we had this picture of a stoplight, and the red was like feeling terrible, like completely out of it, like not okay. And then the yellow was like kind of unsure, feeling kind of awkward, like kind of an iffy day, like struggling with something. And then the green was like doing awesome, like feeling good, everything's going great. And so I told my coach about it, and we actually now use it like for our team. We kind of adapted it. So like the red is like I'm feeling extremely unsafe, like I'm not ready to go. And the yellow was like I'm feeling kind of unsure, like I'm a little iffy, like I need some encouragement, somebody to get me up. And then the green was like I'm ready, like let's do this, ready to push and like ready to go. And so I really try and like pull everyone out of the yellow and pull everyone out of that red and like encourage them to push and like do their best and just like get to the green and like just support everybody like as much as I really can. Okay, so that's it, I guess. Go Bears.